So, if you're anything like me, you're essentially under house arrest thanks to COVID-19, and as we all know, the opposite of happiness is not sadness, it's boredom. Boredom makes you fat, depressed, and addicted to drugs, and I don't want that for my viewers, okay? Which is why my gift this week is your very own self-isolation cinematic survival list, a countdown of the 25 best movies you can enjoy today on Netflix.
By the power of Grayskull. Point Break or Bad Boys 2?
Which one do you think I prefer?
No, I mean, which one do you want to watch first?
You are pulling my leg.
Now, you'll need a VPN to watch them all, as some picks are only available on the UK and or US platforms, but apart from that, let's crack on. At number 25, it's Monty Python and the Holy Grail, a comedic spin on the Arthurian legend, complete with fine shrubberies, limbless knights, rude Frenchmen, and killer rabbits. What more could you want? It's creative, politically savvy, laugh out loud funny, and if you haven't seen it yet, come on, hop to it. Or I will taunt you a second time. See? You didn't even get that reference, did you? You're pathetic.
Old woman! Man! Sorry. What knight lives in that castle over there?
I'm 37.
What?
I'm 37. I'm not old.
Well, I can't just call you man.
You could say Dennis.
I didn't know you were called Dennis.
Well, you didn't bother to find out, did you?
I did say sorry about the old woman, but from behind you looked...
What I object to is you automatically treat me like an inferior.
Well, I am king.
Oh, king, eh? Very nice. And how'd you get that, eh? By exploiting the workers. By hanging on to outdated imperialist dogma which perpetuates the economic and social differences in our society. If there's ever going to be any progress...
Dennis, there's some lovely filth down here!
Next up, we have True Grit, the story of a young girl who hires a gruff, trigger-happy marshal to bring her father's murderer to justice. It's well shot, beautifully scored, and boasts 3 terrific performances. Haley Steinfeld proves to radical feminists everywhere that when heroines are character-driven, as opposed to ideology-driven, people love them. Jeff Bridges is so infectious, you can practically smell the booze through the screen, and the spats between him and Matt Damon's slimy Texas Ranger character are genuinely funny. Top marks all round.
You missed your shot, Cogburn.
Missed my shot!
You are more handicapped without the eye than I without the arm.
I can hit a gnat's eye at 90 yards. That Chinaman is running them cheap shells on me again.
I thought you were going to say the sun was in your eyes. That is to say, your eye.
About Time is a Richard Curtis comedy concerning a young man who can time travel and attempts to improve his luck in the present by altering the past. Now, it doesn't really make any sense, and there are inconsistencies the size of warships. However, I honestly didn't care. The film generates so much goodwill through the central father-son relationship, alongside great supporting performances from the likes of Tom Hollander and Rachel McAdams, that you go with it. You just go with it. A good pick for the whole family, but I warn you, if you watch it with your dad, you'll probably end up giving him a hug, so proceed with caution.
I've got an important announcement to make.
Exciting.
We've decided, after a little bit of thought, to get married.
That's wonderful news. Who are you getting married to?
To Mary. Over there.
Oh, thank God for that. Jolly embarrassing if it had been another girl. Imagine that.
I'm so pleased. Oh no, sorry. By the way, the wedding will be quite soon. Because we're having a baby, too.
Yeah,
I know.
You're pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh. Who's the father?
Oh. Well, Tim, I hope.
Oh, thank God for that. Jolly awkward if it'd been another fella.
At number 22, and oh dear, we have some melanin-enhanced individuals in the jungle with guns. What could go wrong? Beasts of No Nation follows a young orphan somewhere in war-torn Africa. That's not funny. As he falls into the company of Idris Elba's rebel faction and transformed into a child soldier. Clearly influenced by Johnny Mad Dog to some degree. The film is dark, features a harrowing performance by Abraham Atta as the orphan in question, and does not shy away from reminding us just how barbarous the world can get.
Striker, untie him. So, all of you grown men, it is Striker, the small boy, that is fighting this prisoner. Where is 2IC? 2IC! 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 Commandant, sir! 2IC, what are we to be doing with this thing?
This thing? It is just a boy.
A boy? A boy is nothing. A boy is harmless?
Harmless, no, sir!
Does a boy have 2 eyes to see?
2 eyes, sir!
A boy has hands to strangle and fingers to pull triggers. Why are you saying a boy is nothing? Huh? A boy is very, very dangerous. You understand me?
The less I tell you about Mother, Darren Aronofsky's venture into biblical parable and psychological horror, the better, I think. The truth is, you need to discover this film for yourself, and I won't cheat you out of that opportunity. It's oppressive, wonderfully mad, a true sensory experience. Javier Bardem, Jennifer Lawrence in a house, people turn up, bad stuff happens. Just watch it, thank me later.
Why don't you want kids?
Excuse me?
I saw how you reacted earlier. I know what it's like when you're just starting out and you think you have all the time in the world. And, you know, you're not going to be so young forever. Have kids. Then you'll be creating something together. That's what keeps the marriage going. This is all just setting. Do want them.
Now, I have heard that some people find Zodiac boring, which makes me feel like I'm living on a different planet, because for my money, it's David Fincher's best film. And I like Fight Club, I love Seven, but watching the lives of these police officers and journalists unravel as they obsess over catching this serial killer is such a great twist on an established genre. It's based on a true story, of course, which explains just how real and grounded it feels. It's tense, well played, and does for Donovan's hurdy-gurdy man what Silence of the Lambs did for Goodbye Horses. Really spooky stuff.
I told all this to the other officer.
Which other officer?
From Vallejo.
Do you remember his name?
No, but it was right after the murder at the lake.
And what did you tell this officer?
I told him that I'd gone to Salt Point that weekend to skin dive, that I was alone, but I met a couple there. I have their names at home if you want.
That would be great, Arthur.
Lee.
What?
Lee. Nobody calls me Arthur. Also, that day when I came home, my neighbor saw me. It was around 4, but I forgot to tell the other officer that.
Neighbor's name?
Bill White. He died a week or so afterwards. Heart attack, so I didn't think to call to follow up. The knives I had in my car with the blood on them, that blood came from a chicken that I killed for dinner.
What?
At number 19, we have The Death of Stalin, and if you can't work out what it's about from that title, then to the gulag with you. I really love the synergy of comedy and horror, as you'll garner from some other entries on this list, but there's something really special about this film. Directed by Iannucci, the man of course behind The Thick of It and Veep, its American counterpart, and he's very good at finding humour in dark or frustrating places. And I think it's fair to say that communist Russia is a fairly dark and frustrating place, so good. Prepare to chuckle.
Look at them, you see? Okay. Those brain thieves. I see you heat me.
There's food next door, gentlemen, please.
You will not take me down. I will not go down.
Please.
I will not be silent.
I know about the hockey team.
I was deeply upset.
Oh, that's it.
Thank you all for your... Medic!
Oh, not today! You're a fucking stain on that uniform. You just fucking behave.
What is going on?
He felt a little overwhelmed, Sir.
Harm.
Yes.
This is a perfect example of harm.
He's okay.
Come here. Get up. Who did this?
I did, and I enjoyed it. It's been a long time coming.
If any of you should do anything...
Right, well, that's me told.
Next, a quick reminder that not everything that comes out of China attacks the lung capacity of the old, with Jackie Chan attacking the lung capacity of the young as he defends and ultimately trains Jaden Smith in the face of a group of Beijing bullies. It is, of course, The Karate Kid, and as remakes go, it's one of the better ones. Honestly, it has the heart of the original, but injects enough novelty to stay interesting. What's that theme park-based catchphrase again? Fun for all the family? Yeah, something like that.
Check out!
Kung Fu lives in everything we do, Xiao Zhui. It lives in how we put on the jacket, how we take off the jacket. And lives in how we treat people. Everything is Kung Fu.
Many teen comedies take classic works of literature as inspiration. Clueless was a rerun of Emma. 10 Things I Hate About You was essentially The Taming of the Shrew, and Easy A, based on Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, might be my favourite. It's not perfect by any means, but in its best moments it reminded me of an early John Hughes movie or something, and that can only be a good thing. It also served as a launching vehicle for Emma Stone, who's just fantastic, right? I mean, I remember watching this when it first came out and thinking, wow, that girl is about to inherit the earth. And what do you know, I was right.
You guys know that I was here all weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you were upstairs.
Yeah.
You would testify to that?
Yeah.
I would take a bullet for you. You know that. Right between the eyes. I mean, I would slit my throat rather than say something to someone that you didn't want me to say.
That's not necessary, Dad, but that is comforting.
That's how I am. That's how I roll. That's how I do, as they say.
I like the pets.
Thank you. They're Costco. You can have them when you get a little taller if you want.
I'm never gonna go through puberty.
Of course you will, baby. But we're a family of late bloomers. I didn't until I was 14, nor did Olive.
Why does that matter? I'm adopted.
What? Oh my God! Who told you?
Next we have Moon, made in the image of films like 2001 and Solaris. In other words, proper sci-fi before George Lucas came along and ruined everything. I can actually feel the dislikes. I can literally, it's like boom, boom, boom. George Lucas is a hack, okay? Deal with it. Whereas Sam Rockwell plays an engineer isolated in space who begins to suffer a profound personal crisis involving hallucinations and the discovery of his own doppelganger that nobody, except for the ship's supercomputer, voiced by Kevin Spacey, seems able to explain. It's smart, snappy, and at its core about real existential questions, such as what it means to be human. A very impressive piece of work.
Gertie, what the hell's going on? Who's the guy in the rec room? Where did he come from? Why does he look like me?
Sam, you're out of bed.
Yeah, Gertie, I'm out of bed. Who's the guy in the rec room?
Sam Bell.
Come on.
You are Sam Bell. Sam, what is it? It might help to talk about it.
I don't understand what's happening. My mind.
We could run some tests. I haven't let Sam contact Lunar. They don't know you were recovered alive from the accident.
Recovered alive? What do you mean? Why have you reported to Central? What are you talking about?
I'm here to keep you safe, Sam. Are you hungry?
True Romance is on Netflix. How great is that? I watched it again last week and I'd forgotten just how much talent was on display. My lord, you've probably seen it, but if not, now's your chance to unfuck yourself, frankly. I mean, I don't want to be rude, but where have you been? It's funny, tender, insanely violent, and educational. Who can forget the scene where everybody learned that you don't have to be white to be a colonizer, and that the Crusades were entirely justified? 3 cheers for Pope Urban, am I right?
Here's a fact, I don't know whether you know or not. Sicilians were spawned by niggers.
Come again?
No, it's a fact. Yeah. You see, Sicilians have black blood pumping through their hearts. And no, if you don't believe me, you can look it up. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, you see, the Moors conquered Sicily, and the Moors are niggers. See, way back then, Sicilians were like wops from northern Italy. They all had blonde hair and blue eyes. But, well, then the Moors moved in there and, well, they changed the whole country. They did so much fucking with Sicilian women, huh, that they changed the whole bloodline forever. That's why blonde hair and blue eyes became black hair and dark skin. You know, it's absolutely amazing to me to think that to this day, hundreds of years later, that Sicilians still carry that nigger gene. Now this, I'm quoting history. It's written. It's a fact. It's written.
I love this guy.
Everyone kind of forgets about the two towers. It's basically regarded as the one in the middle that was a bit long. But there's some great stuff in there. It introduced us to Gollum for the first time, along with Brad Dourif's impression of Alistair Campbell. And there's that spectacular Zulu-style finale, which still ranks as the best set piece of the series, for my money. And let's face it, The Lord of the Rings is worth watching regularly, simply to derive additional orc posts, and that's as good a reason as any.
Why should I welcome you, Gandalf Stormcrow?
A just question, my liege. Late is the hour in which this conjurer chooses to appear. Last spell I name him. Ill news is an ill guest.
Be silent. Keep your forked tongue behind your teeth.
I have not passed so far in death to bandy crooked words with a witless worm.
Stop. I told you to take the wizard's star!
Theoden, son of Thengel! Too long have you sat in the shadows. I would stay still if I were you.
I saw Marriage Story for the first time a few days ago and was really impressed by it. All the hype around the two leads is justified from my perspective. You believe these people, you believe in the narrative as it catalogues the process of divorce in a way that is both true and emotionally engaging. It has a terrific supporting cast and doesn't feel too political, which is always a bonus these days. A few people have dismissed it as pretentious, which I think is just rubbish. It may not be as pivotal as something like Kramer versus Kramer, but it's a damn good effort.
Did you find a lawyer?
Yes. Henry says you're moving here?
Have your lawyer call Nora.
I want to talk about it as us.
Who the fuck is us?
Let's just get in a room, you and me. That's what we always said we'd do. It's not up to them, it's up to us. It's our
They
divorce.
say I could later sue them for malpractice.
What am I walking into?
What are you walking into?
Yes, what the fuck is going on?
I read your fucking emails, Charlie. I read them all.
When?
I don't know, recently. You're a fucking liar. You fucked Marianne.
It was after I was sleeping on the
All this
couch.
bullshit about working on us. You know what? I have been working. I've been doing the work alone.
How did you read my emails?
I hacked into your account, you dumb fuck.
I think that's
Don't
illegal.
Give me this shit about being surprised about LA. Surprise! I have my own opinion.
How do you even know how to do something like that?
I want things that aren't what you want because, surprise, you were fucking another lady.
I think you're conflating two different things. Marianne has nothing to do with LA.
I am conflating, motherfucker. You watch me conflate.
Any child of the 90s will be familiar with My Girl. For many of us, it was the first time we were ever invited to seriously grapple with the subject of death and mortality more broadly. Sure, it's funny and presents sweet characters that you find endearing, but the story is really about coming to terms with the harshness of life, and it doesn't shy away from being direct about that, which children ultimately appreciate. It's a coming-of-age movie, its heart's in exactly the right place, and if you claim to have made it all the way through, first time, without shedding a tear, congratulations. You are a fucking liar. Just give Home Alone his glasses, damn it.
Can't see it?
What?
Can't you see it?
No.
It's there.
Veda, there is no chicken bone stuck in your throat.
Dr. Welty, are you sure those are yours?
So you fill it with water like this, and what have you got? A water gun.
Cool. Can I get one for Veda?
Oh, yes, yes. Thomas, let me ask you a question. Does Veda ever tell you why she comes down here so much?
Because she's dying.
Do you think she is?
No.
Why do you think she says that?
Because she gets scared of all those dead people in her house. And you know that saying, can't beat them, join them. Well, if she's one of them, she won't be as scared.
You know what I think? I think Veda's very lucky to have a friend like you.
She's my best friend.
Miss Veda, how are you feeling?
As good as can be expected.
A change of pace now with Train to Busan. I just had to include some apocalyptic mayhem given where we are, and zombies are pretty much the go-to. This film brought down the house in Korea when it was first released, and it's not hard to see why. Flesh-eating people on a train, job done. It's simple, it's focused, and deals out buckets of fun and blood in equal measure, because who said the end of the world had to be depressing? Apparently, there are political allegories in there too, but to be honest, I was so wrapped up in the bitey, smashy, facey vibe that all I could think was, damn, baseball looks kind of fun.
손님,
팀장님 어디쯤 오고 계세요? 진짜 미치겠네. 팀장님?
Now, I'm taking a gamble with this next Coen Brothers recommendation because I do know people who hate A Serious Man, but give it a shot, okay? Because to my mind, it's so infuriating. It's actually brilliant. A man's life is crumbling around him. That's it. The question is, how will he respond? Or better yet, will he in fact respond? Early on, we see him enter a cafe to discuss divorce proceedings with his wife in the presence of her new lover. And the word cuck is thrown around a lot these days, but I was almost pulling my hair out. It's weird, engrossing, and deeply annoying. I mean, it makes you want to punch a wall, but in a good way.
I think we all agree that the children not being contaminated with the tension, the most important.
We shouldn't put the kids in the middle of this, Larry.
Kids aren't.
I'm saying we. I'm not pointing fingers.
No one is playing the blame game now.
I didn't say anyone was.
Well, let's not play he said, she said either.
I wasn't.
All right, look. Let's just take a step back and we can diffuse the situation. You know, Larry, sometimes I find that if I count to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, or silently,
really, to keep things on an even keel leading up to Danny's bar mitzvah.
child's bar mitzvah, Larry.
Cy and I think it's best if you move out of the house.
Move out?
Well, it makes eminent sense.
Things can't continue as
Move
they...
out? Where would I go?
Well, for instance, the Jolly Roger is quite livable. It's not expensive. The rooms are eminently habitable.
This would allow you to visit the kids.
There's convenience in its favor. You've got a pool.
Wouldn't it make more sense for you to move in with Cy?
Larry, you are jesting. I think really the Jolly Roger is the appropriate course of action.
What's worse than being housebound due to coronavirus? Being housebound following a car accident, as Kathy Bates hatches a psychotic scheme to make you into her personal writer. Enter Misery at number 9. Stephen King was the first author to get me into reading, really. Being one of his more digestible books, I tackled Misery early on, and upon reaching The Moment, which was altered somewhat incidentally for the big screen, I couldn't sleep that night. Misery is seriously creepy, and if you like that sort of thing, this film's for you.
Anything else I can get while I'm in town? Any other crucial requirements that need satisfying? Would you like a tiny tape recorder? Or how about a handmade set of writing slippers?
Just the paper will be fine.
Are you sure? Because if you want, I'll bring back the whole store for you.
Annie, what's the matter?
What's the matter? I'll tell you what's the matter. I go out of my way for you. I do everything to try and make you happy. I feed you, I clean you, I dress you, and what thanks do I get? Oh, you bought the wrong paper, Annie. I can't write on this paper, Annie. Well, I'll get your stupid paper, but you just better start showing me a little more appreciation around here, Mr. Man.
It has been described as Die Hard meets Enter the Dragon. At number 8, we have The Raid. The premise is simple. A SWAT team storm an apartment building to apprehend a drug dealer. As ammunition runs dry, the tables turn and our heroes become the hunted, resorting to bone-crunching martial arts skills to try and make it out alive. This movie is off the chain. It's so much fun. It's heart-pumping, head-banging Indonesian action, showcasing some of the best combat set pieces in modern cinema. You'll love it, you'll re-watch it, and you'll be eager to check out the sequel, also available on Netflix, Bring On Part 3. At number 7, we have American Psycho. Patrick Bateman is a Wall Street banker who appears to have it all. He's rich, successful, fucking Reese Witherspoon, and yet beneath that squeaky clean exterior beats the heart of a sadistic maniac. Many people remember the moments of extreme violence set to a catchy soundtrack, but it's easy to forget just how funny American Psycho is. There is, after all, a fine line between comedy and tragedy, and they walk that tightrope beautifully. A perfect example is the scene in which the main group are conversing at work, and Bateman realizes he needs to kill one of them on account of the fact that they have a nicer business card. It's absurd, it's over the top, it's still my favourite Christian Bale movie. Give it a shot and you'll see why.
Bleaching? Are you trying to say bleaching? Oh my God. Two things. One, you can't bleach a cheroot. Out of the question. Two, I can only get these sheets in Santa Fe. These are very expensive sheets and I really need them.
If you don't shut your fucking mouth, I will kill you.
Now listen, I have a lunch meeting at Hubert's in 20 minutes with Ronald Harrison, and I need those sheets cleaned by this afternoon. Listen, I cannot understand you. This is crazy. You're a fool. I can't cope with this stupid bitchy. Understand?
Patrick? Hi, Patrick. I thought that was you.
Hello. This is...
Isn't it ridiculous coming all the way up here? But they really are the best.
Then why can't they get these stains out? I mean, can you talk to these people or something? I'm not getting anywhere.
Oh, what are those?
Oh, well, it's cranberry juice, cranapple.
Really?
Listen, if you could talk to them, I would really appreciate it. I'm really late. I have a lunch appointment at Hubert's in 15 minutes.
Hubert's, that moved uptown, right?
Well, oh boy, listen, I've got to go. Thank you, Victoria.
Maybe we could do lunch one day next week. You know, I'm downtown
I
on
don't
Wall
know,
Street
Victoria.
quite often
I'm at work
now.
all the
Well, what
time.
about a Saturday?
Next Saturday?
Sure.
Can't, I'm afraid. I'm not of Les Mis. Listen, I've really got to go. Christ, I'll call you.
Okay. Do.
I once had a cordial but rather drunken debate as to which musical was the greatest of all time. I said it was Mary Poppins, she said it was The Wizard of Oz, and we never settled things, but we did agree that whichever film took the crown, the other came in a close second. Well, Mary Poppins isn't on Netflix, but thankfully, the story of Dorothy and Toto heading home along the yellow brick road is, in all its Technicolor glory. The Wizard of Oz is seminal, and it's also credited by Salman Rushdie, no less, as the story that, quote, made a writer of me. Basically, this film inspired a Booker Prize winner who would go on to pen a novel responsible for pissing off swarms of backward and barbaric Muslims around the world. And if that's not a reason to love it, I don't know what is.
Give me back my slippers. I'm the only one that knows how to use them. They're no use to you. Give them back to me. Give them back.
Keep tight inside of them. Their magic must be very powerful, or she wouldn't want them so badly.
You stay out of this, Glinda, or I'll fix you as well.
Oh, rubbish. You have no power here. Be gone before somebody drops a house on you, too.
Very well. I'll bide my time. And as for you, my fine lady, it's true, I can't attend you here and now as I'd like, but just try to stay out of my way. Just try. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Any list of great performances would surely include Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life, Robert De Niro, King of Comedy, and Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. The cinematography in this film is mesmerizing. The sound, extraordinary. I mean, you really feel the sense of foreboding coming through Johnny Greenwood's original score. The themes of family, religion, and greed are juggled intelligently as we follow Daniel Plainview on his quest for oil at the turn of 20th century America. Perhaps the best compliment you could pay the film is that if I were a budding director and I saw There Will Be Blood, I'd probably think, fuck it, right? I mean, there's no point. I'll never be half as good as that. I might as well become a lollipop man or something, right? It's one of the best films of the last 20 years. Watch it or commit seppuku, right? I don't know, cut off your own head. Do something to end your life because you are wasting it royally.
Stop crying, you sniveling ass. Stop your nonsense. You're just the afterbirth, Eli. No. Slithered out on your mother's filth. No. They should have put you in a glass jar on a mantelpiece. Where were you when Paul was suckling at his mother's teat? Where were you? Who was nursing you, poor Eli? None of Bandy's sows? That land has been had. Nothing you can do about it. It's gone. It's had.
If you would just take this lease, Daniel.
Drainage! Drainage, Eli, you boy. Drain dry. I'm so sorry. If you have a milkshake, and I have a milkshake, and I have a straw, there it is. That's a straw, you see. You watching? My straw reaches across the room and starts to drink your milkshake. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. How do you pack so much joy into one movie? That's what I want to know. Tanks, gunfights, ghostly knights, and even a Richard Spencer cameo. Look, they totally spoiled us. It's funny because we've had so many lovable action rogues since Harrison Ford first donned the hat, from Tony Stark to Jack Sparrow, and yet none of them hold a candle to Indy. He is the original. He is the real deal. The Last Crusade also introduces the father, played by Sean Connery, and some of the best scenes involve the two of them coming to terms with their relationship amidst the chaos of the Nazi war machine. Perhaps not as iconic as Raiders, but every bit as fun.
Dr. Jones.
Yes?
I will take the book now.
What book?
You have the diary in your pocket.
You don't. Do you think my son would be that stupid that he would bring my diary all the way back here? You didn't, did you? You didn't bring it, did you?
Well,
You did.
look, can we discuss this later?
I should have mailed it to the Marx brothers. Will you take it easy? Take it easy? Why do you think I sent it home in the first place? So it wouldn't fall into their hands. I came here to save you. Oh, yeah? And who's going to come to save you, Junior? I told you. Don't call me Junior.
The bronze medal goes to The Wicker Man, and I wonder how many people have actually seen the original Wicker Man, and how many were put off from seeing it by that abysmal American remake. And I'm sorry to any transatlantic cousins of mine that happen to be listening, but that film was a disgrace, okay? I want reparations from Nicolas Cage for defiling the memory of Britain's greatest horror. It stars Christopher Lee at his finest, and Edward Woodward, man, a tour de force as the puritanical police officer who arrives on this remote Scottish island in search of a missing girl to be confronted with a pagan madness that he just cannot process on any level, leading ultimately to his final appointment, the set piece with The Wicker Man. The terror of that moment has rarely been matched. It gives me the shivers just thinking about it.
Chop! 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 Chop!
Everyone must go through, McGregor. It's a game of chance, remember?
The number 2 spot belongs to David Lynch's masterpiece, Blue Velvet, which really gives me the creeps. It's strange, puzzling, and is one of those films that elicits a guttural reaction, you know? It's difficult to describe in a way that does true justice. The best thing to do is just watch it, honestly, and expect the unexpected. It features some top performances from the likes of Laura Dern and Dennis Hopper, who's really scary as Frank Booth, this sadistic gangster character. It's hypnotic, it's surreal, it's one of the greatest movies of all time, and you can watch it at the push of a button. Isn't the internet amazing?
Are you lying to me? You sure?
Hey!
Hello, baby.
Who is this fuck?
A friend. He's from the neighborhood. We were just talking.
Oh. You're from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You're a neighbor. But what's your name, neighbor?
Jeffrey. He's a good kid, Frank.
Shut the fuck up! Hey, you wanna go for a ride?
No, thanks.
No thanks. What does that mean?
I don't want to go.
Go where?
For a ride.
A ride! Hell, that's a good idea. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Get your fucking robe. Raymond! Come on, we're gonna go for a joyride.
Joyride.
And finally, the best film you can watch on Netflix right now also happens to be my favourite film of all time. It is, of course, Pan's Labyrinth. Where do I even begin with Pan's Labyrinth, man? I must have seen this movie more than 100 times. It has become something of a litmus test at this point for new relationships. I show it to people, and if they don't like it, they're out, okay? No questions asked. This will never work. We are a different species. Fans of the Brothers Grimm fables will absolutely adore this film. One critic described it as Alice in Wonderland for grown-ups. It's set in Spain a few years after the Civil War, and this backdrop allows Del Toro to intertwine the horrors of both fantasy and reality in a manner that is truly unique and arresting. It also boasts the longest standing ovation in the history of Cannes. Critics applauded this film for 22 minutes straight, unable to comprehend the idea that it was the actual product of a human brain. Is that enough praise? Do you get it now? It's worth the Netflix subscription alone. Pan's Labyrinth, you're welcome. Enjoy.
He decidido daros otra oportunidad. Prometéis obedecerme. Haréis todo lo que yo os diga, sin cuestionarlo. Es vuestra última oportunidad. Entonces, escuchadme bien. Recoged a vuestro hermano y traédmelo al laberinto lo antes posible. Aldea.
¿Mi hermano?
Lo necesitamos.
Pero...
No más preguntas.
La puerta está cerrada.
En ese caso, haced vuestra propia puerta.
So there you have it. The things I do for you people, right? I mean, it's frankly ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think of these recommendations, and if I've missed one or two, as, hey, I'm only one guy, flag it below in the comments, share it with the group. Until then, stay cool, happy quarantine, enjoy the films, and I'll see you next time.